Wonderhussy here. I'm about to embark on one of my favorite all-time adventures. Paddling down the Colorado River through Black Canyon, stopping at all of the amazing natural hot springs down there. Black Canyon is what they call the portion of the Colorado River below the Hoover Dam, after it flows through the Grand Canyon and into Lake Mead. After passing through the dam, the river is nowhere near as burly as it is going through the Grand Canyon. There's no crazy rapids or anything like that. The dam basically neuters it. So as it flows through Black Canyon, it's a pretty chill, peaceful float. I'm not much of an adrenaline junkie, so whitewater rafting isn't really my bag. Floating gently through a beautiful canyon full of hot springs while enjoying a frosty beverage is more my style. I've done this trip a couple times before, and it's an amazing trip. This portion of the Colorado River is super mellow, so you don't even really have to do much paddling. And there's a beach at one of the hot springs that you can camp out overnight at. So it's great to do this as a 2 or even 3-day trip. The group I'm with here today are mostly from LA, actually. I kind of glommed on because I sort of knew a couple of them. And we're putting in Friday morning. It's 8 a.m. and we're gonna stay 2 nights and then take out on Sunday afternoon, so should be a great time. The reason we had to be here so friggin' early is so that the outfitter could load up all our gear and take us down to the put-in point, which is on restricted federal property just below the Hoover Dam. Even if you have your own canoe and don't need to rent from an outfitter, you still have to pay around $22 for a permit and have an outfitter bring you down to the put-in. The government won't let you go in on your own. You also have to have your government-issued ID with you, and they are very serious about this. No ID, no put-in. Once they drop you off at the launch, you only have 10 minutes to get all your gear into your canoe and push off, and they are very strict about this. They basically tell you to just throw all your gear into your canoe and go. There's a little beach just past the restricted area where you can go ashore and reorganize to your liking. But you only have 10 minutes to carry all your gear down the ramp from the van to your canoe, so you really have to hustle. But once you're on the water, you can relax. You don't want to mellow out too much, though, or you might miss the first point of interest on the float trip, which is one of my favorite places on the Colorado River, the Sauna Cave. Interestingly, we happened to be paddling down early enough in the morning, I guess, that the water level is really low. The water level of the Colorado changes depending on the dam, and I guess they haven't released water out of the dam for a bit because water level is so low, we could actually walk to the Sauna Cave. Every other time I've been there, we had to paddle up in a boat. So this is kind of cool. I've made a whole video about this place, you can check that out, but we're just gonna stop in here for a quick steam before we paddle on our way. This sauna cave was created when they were building the Hoover Dam, blasting into the canyon walls and hit a hot spring. Nowadays, a hot creek flows through this spooky dark tunnel, creating a hot, steamy, otherworldly experience. Check out my sauna cave video for more information. All right, we took a little break here at Rearrange Beach, hit the Sauna Cave, and now we're gonna get back in our boats and paddle on to the next stop, which is a doozy. All right, we're at the next stop, and it's Goldstrike Canyon. This is one of my all-time favorite hot springs. It's a beautiful red rock canyon with a series of waterfalls and hot spring pools all the way down. It's a really nice pond at the top of that waterfall. Another little soak right here. You just have pond after pond after pond and these beautiful mossy fern-draped canyon walls all the way down to the Colorado River. That's where we tied up our canoes. Now we're gonna hike up canyon and go for a soak. If you wanna find out more about Goldstrike Hot Springs, I have an entire video I made about hiking down to the springs. If you don't wanna come in on a canoe or a jet boat or anything, you can actually hike down the canyon to get to them. And it's a kind of a strenuous hike. There's some bouldering and climbing on ropes, but it's totally doable. I've done it many times in flip-flops, So don't let that scare you off. This waterfall right here is great for taking a hot shower. Hot spring water flowing down the cliff, and look at that water pressure. I just love all the colors down here. This place is amazing. And this hot spring, Goldstrike, the trailhead is only 45 minutes from Las Vegas. Okay, it's really backlit up there where the best soaking pool is. And the gang's all up there going for a soak. I don't know if I'll be able to shoot any video because I want to respect everyone's privacy. Okay, there were too many people soaking in the pool, plus the light was really bad, so I'm just gonna throw in a little bit of footage from my full-length Goldstrike video, which again, you can check out on my channel sometime if you're interested. Just floating down this canyon. So peaceful. Our friends have music playing. And look at the water. Look how friggin' clear this is. This is almost like the Caribbean or something. Look how green it is. So beautiful. And then you float past all these little beaches. You can stop anywhere you want and camp out. But if you camp on a beach, you're not allowed to poop. You can't bury your poop here. You have to carry a wag bag. But the beach we're going to has vault toilets, so we don't have to worry about that. And that's part of the reason we're camping there. All right, we came ashore at our destination for the next 2 days. The beach at Arizona Hot Spring. Unfortunately, there's already tents set up here on the beach itself, so we're a big group of 30 people. We won't be able to camp out here, but we're gonna head up into one of these canyons and find a spot. Okay, so once you come ashore here at the beach at Arizona Hot Spring, it's pretty nice. Plenty of room for camping. I mean, like I said, we have a group of 30 people, and there was already several other groups camped here, but there's plenty of room for all of us. And I found a really nice little camp spot under a tree with plenty of shade. So you can camp right down there on the beach if you want. Or this is the trail that goes up to the hot springs. There's little campsites along there. And there's a bunch of campsites back in that canyon. That's where about half of our group is. But I wanted a little bit of peace and quiet, so I'm actually camped over here in these trees. I tried to be fairly minimalist with what I brought and treat this as more of a backpacking trip. Even though I was in a canoe, and technically I suppose I could have loaded up everything but the kitchen sink. But I just brought a small tent, sleeping bag, a tiny little camp chair, and of course, my fluffy hot spring robe, because it's gonna be cold when I get out of the hot water tonight, and I wanna be cozy. One of the best things about this campsite is it's not that far from the hot spring. It's a quick hike up this canyon here. Let's go check it out. Look at this, you can see where the hot creek is starting to run out, and that's how you know you're on the path to the hot spring. It kind of winds through this beautiful slot canyon. We're getting close to the hot springs, and how I really know is this warning sign. It's just warning you about this amoeba that lives in water above a certain temperature, and it can only enter your body through your nose. But if it does enter your body through your nose, I think it's like a brain-eating amoeba. It's basically deadly unless you catch it right away, and there's not very many ways of detecting it until it's too late. And it's not just in hot springs, it's actually in any water above a certain temperature, like Lake Havasu. Somebody's died from getting it in Lake Havasu. Some guy just contracted it and died at an indoor wave pool in Texas in 2018 or 2017, I think. So you can get it anywhere, you just have to be mindful not to get water in your nose. So it's a good practice to not put your face underwater when you're soaking in a hot spring. All right, we're almost to the hot springs, and there's only one more obstacle in our way. This rickety sketchy metal ladder that you have to climb up to get up to the hot spring pools that are up on that ledge. Climbing this ladder can be really scary because it's wet from the waterfall. So I like to do it barefoot because I feel like my toes can grab onto the rungs better. Okay, here's the best hot spring of them all. Someone has just shored it up with sandbags, so it looks like it's in really good condition. Whoa! Can you imagine soaking in this delicious hot water with this sheer walls of this slot canyon going up above you? Oh wow, look. The volunteers, this is all done by volunteers by the way, those sandbags. The volunteers have left empty sandbags and a shovel so that you can do your own repairs if need be. There's another pool up here that's also sandbagged in. This one's even hotter. It's so cool that people do this out of the goodness of their heart. That's not easy. They filled all these bags with sand and shored it up. Amazing. Anytime I start doubting the goodness of people, I just come to a place like this. Everything's okay. Woo, really hot in this one. Look, there's one more pool at the top that's the hottest. I don't know if I'll be able to handle soaking in it or even stepping in it for very long, but I guess the source is way up there in the rock somewhere. Let's see if we can try to find this source. Okay, wow, look how red my legs and feet are getting from this hot water. This top pool is super hot. Ooh, oh my god, I can hardly stand to walk through it. It's so hot. Owie, 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 I gotta get through. I wanna find the source. Gotta get to the source. Ow, ow. Okay, look, it appears to be multiple sources feeding these pools. Ooh, god, this water is so hot up here. This coming out of here, look, that's a pretty good source just pouring right out of the side of this canyon wall. Let me see how hot it is. Ooh, ow. Man, that is hot. No wonder these springs are so hot. But it looks like there's also water coming out from over here. As you can see, there's a little tiny seep coming out from here. Ooh, that's really hot too, but not quite as hot as that gusher. That guy over there is the hottest. And then look, there's little tiny seeps kind of coming out all over the ground here. It's interesting. Looks like there's one coming from in here somewhere. Huh, so there's at least 3 sources. Interesting. That explains why these pools are so clear. They have excellent flow through. Goes down from these sources and fills up the 4 or 5 different pools, then goes down the ladder and becomes that little creek we hiked up. And at this hot spring, which is, I'm calling it Arizona Hot Spring, but it's also called Ringbolt Hot Spring because I guess Ringbolt Rapids are on the river in front of it. And I've also heard it called White Rock Hot Spring because one of the approaches, or I guess the hike, is through White Rock Canyon. Well, there's kind of 2 or 3 different ways you can hike to these hot springs if you don't want to take a boat, just like at Goldstrike. But the hike to these is a little bit easier than Goldstrike. There's no climbing down ropes and boulders. But you can hike in from above the springs and come down. But the downside to coming in this way is you gotta hike through all those really hot pools. And then you gotta climb down that sketchy ladder. But there's another way you can hike in if you don't want to have to walk through boiling water and climb down a ladder. Okay, so hiking back down from the hot spring through the slot canyon, you come across the other trail you can take if you want to hike down rather than come via boat. It says 10, but it's not 10 miles. I think it's only 3 miles or so. And it's a pretty easy hike, but it can be monotonous because you're just crunch, 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 crunch through a slot canyon for what feels like forever. If you can take a boat, it's the way to go. Okay, looks like the others are starting to get fired up and have a party. But before I go down there, I'm gonna hit these bathrooms because I gotta take a whiz and I thought I would show you what these awesome toilets are like. Like I was saying earlier, you're not allowed to bury your poop anywhere in Black Canyon. So unless you're camping here, which is the only beach with bathrooms, you have to use a wag bag, which is basically just a glorified plastic bag that you poop in, twist it up, then you have to carry it around with you until you leave and can properly dispose of it. So camping at this beach is optimal because you don't have to worry about that. And these, they're just vault toilets, but they're really not that bad. Okay, I know this is kind of gross, but I'm gonna show you what it looks like inside just so you can see for yourself that it's not that bad. See what I mean? I've been in much worse. Once the sun comes down, the sky gets beautiful out here. Look at these colors. I'm not sure it'll come out on this. The sky's all pink and blue. It's absolutely beautiful. Such a beautiful evening. Look at that sky. Once you're here, there's not much to do but relax. No cell signal, no Wi-Fi, just sunshine and water, both hot and cold. And when all that relaxing gets too tiring, it's time for a nap. This hammock was made by a company called Trek, and it packs up pretty compactly into this little kind of like carry bag. And then it opens up to become a full-size hammock. And it's super comfortable. I'll put a link to it in the description. If you're on the market for a hammock, check it out. This is the life. All right, well, spent all day relaxing and all night partying, and now it's Sunday morning, and it's time to set off. I think we have about 10 miles to paddle to the takeout at Willow Beach, but there's a lot of cool stuff to check out along the way. Whew. We're almost back to Willow Beach, which is our takeout, and we passed this other little kind of cove that we stopped at to have lunch. There's all kinds of amazing, beautiful little beaches you pass. But we have to be to Willow Beach by 4 p.m., so we really didn't dawdle too much. This is our one big break that we're taking. Whoa, far out, it's tarantula season. Look at this guy. Oh man, how'd you like to find that in your sleeping bag? Yikes! And got back to the marina, the takeout at Willow Beach with plenty of time to spare. We were really lucky weather-wise. It was a beautiful, calm day, and there was hardly any wind at all. We made excellent time. I'm not even that tired. But that being said, the first thing I'm gonna do when I get home is have a big, juicy cheeseburger. I've earned it.